This is so dope. I mean, look at this.
I had Bantha tracks. I was in the fan club since I was a wee little boy.
Under the command of Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker.
All of those figures come with sticks.
You're coming together.
It is downright disgusting, but it is in line with Kathleen Kennedy's horrible job as Lucasfilm president.
As a child, I always wanted an Anakin figure, but not the robed ghost version.
The film is breaking attendance records all over the country. Not since Jaws have so many people stood in line to see a movie.
When Star Wars was released in 1977, it changed everything, and not just for the movies. I've done videos on how Star Wars has influenced toys, games, education, the food industry, but there's one thing I've never really touched on, and it's the biggest and best part of Star Wars. The fans. Be it geek, nerds, jock, motorheads, bikers, social justice warriors, AP kids, overachievers, underachievers, in-between achievers, rednecks, gangsters, influencers, loners, freaks, skaters, hipsters, drifters. Star Wars fans come in all shapes, sizes, sex, and race. And this is my love letter to the best thing that came from a movie released in the summer of 1977. It seems like even before the release of Star Wars, there were Star Wars fans. Fans that bought the comics, the novel, met with the stars at a convention center long before the release of the film. As soon as people knew about Star Wars, there were fans. As Star Wars was released over the months of 1977, it grew and grew. More screens, more theaters. But something else grew, the lines. As fans were getting back in line to watch the movie they all fell in love with. Some of these fans had already seen the movie dozens of times. Some were standing in the long lines wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. Some even dressed up as their favorite Star Wars character. Star Wars might not have birthed the summer blockbuster movie, but it did give birth to the movie fandom. No longer were movie fans those small groups of people collecting film reels and movie props. Now being a movie fan was commonplace. Fans didn't only just love the movie, they felt like they were part of it. From wearing a shirt, playing with toys, debating Star Wars, hanging up posters in their bedroom. Lucas might have came up with Star Wars. He may have made it happen. But it was the fans that made Star Wars more than just a movie. As Star Wars grew from one film to a trilogy to a saga, so did the fans. Even when Star Wars entered the dark times, when you could walk into a store and not see anything related to Star Wars, or hear anyone even talking about it, the fans were still there, role-playing with their friends, debating every scene of the movie, standing in long convention lines to see an obscure Star Wars actor who played that character that most people didn't even remember. Star Wars may have taken a break during the dark times, but the fans never did. As the internet grew and Star Wars became more than a trilogy, the fans had a new place to gather. No longer were fans limited to their small base at work, or at school, or the local comic shop. Now Star Wars fans had a place to pore over every frame of the film, and debate it with fans all over the world. The internet age brought as much change to Star Wars fandom as it did the rest of the world. Fans got even more passionate about their love for Star Wars, and times the internet seemed like a dark place for fans. At first glance, these debates you see online often looked angry. But as the fan base grew over the years, one thing was clear. Star Wars fans love Star Wars. That doesn't mean it's always about what they love about Star Wars. It's also about what they didn't like. Tune in to the latest Star Wars breakdown video, or the latest tweet reacting to the latest Star Wars news. You will find anger, excitement, and disagreement. But if you look closer, you'll see what's really there. A love for Star Wars. Even if fans don't always agree, one thing is for sure. Their anger, their hurt, their criticism, it all comes from a place of love for Star Wars. One fan may not like the direction of Star Wars, while another fan might not be always happy with decisions that Disney made once it took over Star Wars. The day when someone doesn't get upset about some current Star Wars news or the direction of the new films is the day you have to worry about Star Wars fandom. If you're a fan of just the original trilogy, or the prequel trilogy, or the latest Disney era, it doesn't make you more or less of a Star Wars fan. Being a Star Wars fan is about being part of a community, part of something bigger. The Star Wars fandom is the Force. It's for the fat, the skinny, white, black, Republican, Democrat, independent, rich, poor, smart, dumb. Being part of the fandom surrounds us all, binds us together. Without the fans, we wouldn't have Star Wars. A lot of times we all don't agree. But how boring would it be as a Star Wars fan if we all just agreed on everything Star Wars? I may be a fan of Star Wars, but I'm a much bigger fan of the Star Wars fandom. As always, thank you for watching. Please thumb up so I know you like my content and subscribe to the channel.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.